Hey folks, today I want to talk about a carburetor I picked up on Amazon. It's a KIPA or KIPA, however you want to pronounce it. Basically, it's a copy of a Mikuni HSR42 flat slide carburetor, and didn't really want to go this route, but I ended up doing this because the Mikuni complete kit that I bought was oversold. The seller could not ship it, didn't know when they were getting them in, so I ended up piecing together the kit, including the carburetor. So the Mikuni goes for, I think it's around $350 standalone, easy kit or whatever it is. This one, again, it goes for $100, and I am gonna open this thing up and see what kind of jets are in it and how it's set up. So we'll do that in a minute. The other thing is I am going to be using this to replace the Magneti Marelli fuel injection on this 97 Road King. I was going to try to salvage that system, but it just has all of the issues that everybody talks about. The thing is spitting, popping, blowing smoke and fire. So I think it's time to ditch it rather than just sticking a whole bunch of money into this bike. So I am going to have a video on how I'm going to go about making that swap. I am putting together the rest of the parts that go along with the carburetor, including the intake manifold, air cleaner kit. I've got a VOES switch that I'm going to be using, and I've got a Dynatech 2000 ignition module that I'll be installing. So stay tuned for that video. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, and leave your comments, and let's open this thing up. Okay, so here we go. Here is the KIPA carburetor, and hopefully it is a KIPA and not a junker. A little bit of humor there. I happened to look at the box here, and lo and behold, this carburetor is made in China. Go figure. I thought maybe it was made in some other location, possibly, but couldn't really find a lot of information on the internet about it. It did come with a couple of fuel filters that I will not be using on the bike, but I'll just keep these around for whatever. Came with a set of brushes and I guess pins to clean the jets, and then it came with the adapter for the CV carb. I will not need that because I'm going with a Mikuni. Came with the choke cable, some tie wraps, a plug, clamp, a couple of O-rings, and some spare jets. And surprisingly, these jets are marked. It looks like I've got 155, 165, 170, 175, and then the jet for the accelerator pump, and also a couple of pilot jets. It looks like there's a 42 and a 45. So nice selection of jets here for tuning this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and see what is actually in this carburetor. I want to open up the float bowl, check the float setting, and see what jets are in there. And I'm also going to pull the top cover off of it to see what the needle setting is. So anyway, first impressions on this thing. It is nicely, I guess, machined, and looks like there's some some sort of anodized aluminum or something down in there on the slide. And you can see everything is kind of polished and not quite what I expected. You know, I have had a couple Mikunis in the past and they were not polished like this. So here you can see we've got the accelerator pump and the linkages for that and the adjustments. Over here we've got the little pulley for the cable, and looks like it's pretty nicely done, really. Just first impressions looking pretty good here. So let's open this thing up and see what's inside. And I am not going to demonstrate this on the bike today, but I will have another video showing the carburetor running and after I swap out my Magneti Marelli fuel injection. But that's going to be a different story, different video. Just want to show you this carburetor today. Just real quickly, the carburetor actually did come with a so-called manual, but you know, it's talking about the usual disclaimers, serious injury, yada yada, connect the approved fuel hose or whatever. So just some warnings, not really a manual. So what I did was I downloaded the Mikuni HSR tuning manual, and you can actually see that this was revised on February 10th of 2003, and not sure what changed, but probably always a good idea to get the latest and greatest. And it does have, you know, pretty much everything you need to tune your Mikuni carburetor. If it is a Mikuni, hopefully this KIPA has the same setup, and I will go about the tuning the same way that I would with a Mikuni. Okay, so basically what I've done is taken the float bowl drain hose off of here, and I also removed the the idle adjustment screw, and I'm going to take the float bowl off of here. So let me just get these loosened up. Usually it helps if you really push on these when you are removing them so your screwdriver doesn't slip out of there. All right, so got it kind of loose here. Let's see if we can get these things out of here. Okay, remove the remaining screws. Okay, float bowl has dropped, and first of all, I do see a tiny little piece of debris in there. Probably good I took this thing off. And other than that, not too much. You can see the spring for the accelerator pump, and the gasket does appear to have some lubrication on it, which is good. Okay, so just taking a look at the float, I am going to check the height here. The Mikuni manual recommends 18 millimeters, so get my trusty caliper out here. and get that set up on millimeters. And I'm just going to go straight to 18. Okay. And the height is set at 18. And I just want to let that that float just touch so it might be just a tiny bit high. Looks like it's about just a hair over 18, so I'm just going to leave that pretty much as is. The main jet looks like it is a 160, so we'll leave that. Okay, I'm just going to loosen up this pilot jet. See if I can see what the size is. Sorry for blocking the view there. Okay, so unfortunately it doesn't look like this guy is marked like the other ones. Although my lighting isn't that great here, maybe there's something on it. Doesn't look like it is marked. So they're saying the standard size is 25. Okay, so we've got a 42 and a 45. All right, that doesn't make sense, first of all. So I'm going to assume, since the main jet is a 160, that this pilot jet is going to be a standard size, because according to the Mikuni manual, the main jet is supposed to be 160. That is what's in this carburetor. Okay, so don't know what pilot jet is in there, because the standard size of the Mikuni says it's a 25. Again, this one is not marked. The other two are marked, but they don't seem to be within the range that Mikuni recommends. And again, it's I think it was a 42 and a 47. And the range, normal range for Mikuni is 17.5 to 30. So anyway, let's assume that this is the correct jet for now. And we'll have to move on. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy back in here. Just make sure it is tight. And then I'm also going to make sure that my main jet is tight, which it is. And then just make sure that the fuel shutoff is working. Has some spring action to it, so that's good. And then there's the rod for the accelerator pump. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. All right, so we'll put this thing back together. All right, now it looks like the top cover has some Allen screws on it. Looks like it's a 2.5 millimeter. Okay. And here looks like we've got a little bit of grease or debris on there. Okay, so I'm just going to look down there and see what notch the needle appears to be on, and it looks like it's the third one down from the top. So I believe that that is the center setting, so I am just going to leave that alone. The slide seems to be moving pretty freely, nice and smooth. So we'll just leave that alone. Okay, so the only other thing I would have to do here is remove this to install the choke cable, and then I am going to be installing a vacuum operated switch. So I don't know, I guess, if that goes on this port or up here yet. I'm going to have to research that a little bit. And the other thing I don't know is what this guy is. I'm just going to go ahead and put this top cover back on here. Okay, so there you pretty much have it. That is the KIPA carburetor, and I am going to make another video installing this on the bike and removing that terrible Magneti Marelli fuel injection system. I've already started purchasing some parts for the air cleaner, and also got a Mikuni intake and gaskets and my VOES switch. I also got a Dyna 2000 ignition for this. Okay, that's a wrap. So thanks for watching, and we'll see how this KIPA goes, and if I'm going to keep it or swap it out ultimately for a real Mikuni. Thanks for watching.